Thanks for staying with us. The KwaZulu-Natal Cooperative Governance Department is urging residents to be on high alert for possible flooding. It comes after the SA Weather Service issued a warning for severe thunderstorms for the province on Thursday. KwaZulu-Natal Cooperative Governance MEC Sihle Zikalala joins us now for more. MEC Zikalala, very good evening to you. Welcome to Newzroom Afrika. With the warning that's been issued and the province continuing to experience the heavy rains, there are fears that the region could face another flood disaster. What are some of your observations that you've made since this warning has been issued?
Well, thank you. The first thing that we have done is to issue the alert and warning to all communities in respective areas that the forecast indicated that they may experience thunderstorm. And we've communicated these are areas such as Emadlangeni, Utugela, Umzinyathi, Umshwati, and therefore it is the inland of KwaZulu-Natal. We have communicated and we believe that all teams are standby to ensure that they intervene where necessary. We continue to appeal to communities that where we do send messages, they must respond with speed.
eThekwini municipality was the hardest hit during the large and deadly floods of April and May. Looking at the impact or the risk factor of localized flooding, how are you managing that situation in terms of contingency plans? I mean, you've sent out the messages, but how will the plan look like?
Well, the plan is to ensure that we've got teams that are ready in case there are people who need to be evacuated. Two is to ensure that we have community centers where we can keep people for shorter period if we evacuate them, and then ensure that they are then taken back to their areas once it is safe. We are communicating with all leaders, councillors, community leaders, ward committees, the traditional leadership, to ensure that all of them become part of the operation in areas where they would be in areas once it get affected.
As you try and make sense, of course, of the impact of these rains and how severe it will get, what plan is in place for those living in flood-prone areas? Are they being moved at all ahead of the floods that could also be catastrophic?
Yes, we have issued alert to ensure that those people who are in low-lying areas which are prone to flooding, they get moved into community service centers. We have also issued a warning that those who are traveling, driving around, must avoid crossing low-lying bridges so that we avoid fatalities. So plans are in place, and we believe that with the recent experience, all people are now cautious and they are able to respond seriously and avert fatalities or damage that is always caused by floods.
Yeah, because MEC, that recent experience left thousands of people destitute. Around 460 lost their lives because of those floods. We know that the relocation process of those displaced by those recent floods has been met with several challenges. When it comes to matters of accommodation, how much has been achieved?
We have managed to ensure that we decant community care centers which have been accommodating people who were affected by May and April floods. But the process has been delayed by two factors. The first one is the bureaucratic process, where we needed to ensure that all applications are verified and quantified accordingly. But secondly, the availability of land to build temporary residential units for those affected have been a delay. And due to that, we've even taken an approach of renting some buildings that are nearby those community centers so that people will live in at least a decent place where they will also enjoy privacy.
We know that the National Department of Human Settlement availed over 325 million rand from the Provincial Emergency Housing Grant. How are other funds going to be allocated for the long-term permanent housing plan if you are thinking of the permanent part of it, because you speak about temporary measures and the rental part of the plan?
Once communities are accommodated in these temporary residential units, then the process of designing, planning, and conducting all studies for construction of houses then starts at that level. But for those who have land, and that land, you find that those pieces of land are in suitable areas, we then start constructing permanent houses. That is the approach we are using.
The damage to infrastructure during the April-May floods was said to be worth an estimated 25 billion rand. Are you concerned that with this lot of rain that has been warned against by the weather services, that it could reverse some gains that have been made concerning the repair process that has already been undertaken?
Yes, that is our concern, and it frustrates that as we try to repair the damage caused by April and May floods, we also experienced flooding again. Just last month, we had to attend to the situation of Msunduze municipality, where some wards also were affected by floods. Now, it means we work going forward, but we are also taken back by the floods that continues to befall the province.
Perhaps, MEC, let's go back to the question I asked you before this one around the long-term plan when it comes to housing. Is there a plan in place in terms of the time frames that will be allocated to ensure that those funds do indeed be beneficial on the long and permanent solution for those who lost their homes?
Yes, there are plans that are led by the Department of Human Settlement, and all of those plans do have time frames. It differs because of the availability of land in a main, but the plans with time frame and how much is needed, it's there, and the Department of Human Settlement is leading that process.
Could people have permanent homes by the end of 2023, just on estimate and according to the plans you've drafted?
We are hoping so, that at the beginning of 2021 we will complete the first phase, which is about getting temporary residential units, even if it's on rental basis. Then during the year, we must then work on ensuring that those people who lost their houses are built.
Yeah, because with the warning that's been sent out as you and I speak, the list could seemingly pile up. More people could be in need of housing should the worst happen. Indeed,
you are correct. It might end up, the list might end up increasing as we continue to suffer floods. But we're hoping that because there hasn't been any incident as yet, we're hoping that we will not be affected that much.
What about in this instance, MEC, have you had, with this round and this warning, any of the residents who are refusing to move from their homes? Because we know that during the April-May floods, some residents refused to move.
Now, since then, I think the cooperation from communities has improved. Once we issue a warning, people normally, they now get, they respond positively whenever we issue these warnings. I think the incident we suffered did.
Okay, thank you so much. We're going to have to, unfortunately, leave it there.